Well, no, okay. Hang on a minute.
Oh, well, how
do you think she'll find
Yes. You say just the far side of London for people who don't know it. You know the area well enough.
I was lucky I left my phone Oh yeah, actually, yeah, all over the world. That's true in terms of attending conferences.
I thought that was your mum and dad.
The school. They've all been ejected.
Jennifer Chandler. No, that's her, not me.
Gender the typesetting of it.
Very vital. 1, 2, 3.
Beef Bhutan, South Africa.
Thank you very much for coming. It's great to see you all here. I just want to say a few words about this link that we've developed with South Africa. A little bit about the history and a little bit about what we're doing here tonight. And also thank a few people. So if we're going to start with the link. 2002 it was, 3 years ago. 17 heads and deputies, paid for by the government. Quite amazing that. I don't think that'll happen again. Went out to South Africa to look at leadership in South African schools and to share ideas about leadership. That's when I went to Nkabakazulu School. You can say that again. Nkabakazulu School. I can't do the clicks, sorry. Nkabakazulu School. And I met Tiris there, who was the ICT teacher. And I set up this email link with Tiris, and things really went on from there. Tiris then visited our school at Westwood the year afterwards, 2003. We bought them, initially, we raised about £2,500 through various events, and we bought them a computer, their first working computer, and I remember, I think it was about 300 chairs, because there are, I think it's 60 or 70 in a classroom, that's right, Heather, isn't it, about that, 60 or 70 in a classroom, squeezed in. So we bought them that, and then the next step was to try and get people out there, because I'd seen it, but a lot of the students and staff wanted to know more and wanted to see it for themselves. So we arranged a trip, and February 2005, 17 of us from the school, staff, students and parents, went out to South Africa, and we spent 10 days, 3 of which were in the school itself, working with the students for those 3 days on sport, art and music. Tremendous experience, absolutely fantastic. And whilst we were there, we did deliver another cheque for about £2,500, which was aimed at supporting 2 of their students through university for their first year. Bob then got this project up and running. In fact, quite a long time ago, Bob, actually, wasn't it? 18 months ago to come together. It's taken that long. And Graham, kindly offered his services, fantastic offer, to write these stories. And then everybody else has fallen into place with all their generosity to create this fantastic book. And the purpose of the book is to support students through university in their first year. Why their first year? Well, apparently they tell me that if they can get in their first year, then they can get bursaries from the government for their second and third years to complete their courses. And these are students who, without our support, would in no way be able to get to university. And very low incomes, often 7 or 8 in the family, living in the Black Township with very little support. Many of their family dying from AIDS as well. So very difficult circumstances. What I'd like to do is just read you a little extract from a letter. This was shoved into my hand on the last day, just before we left. And we all seem to get these given to us just before we left. And this is from a girl called Confidence. So my name is Confidence. My surname is Mtetwa. I'm from the school that you are in love with. I'm talking about Nkbakazulu Comprehensive High School. I think it has been too long time doing things for us, and I want to pass on my thanks to you. You are so kind in such a way that I can't explain in this letter. I want to thank you, and you have to know that we really appreciate what you've done for us. I wish God to be with you and bring you lots and lots of good luck. I have only one thing to suggest. I think you can make it and hope you can. I would like you to come into our school next year, as I'm having my last year, and I hope I'll pass all my subjects with flying colours. And if I do, then I wish to be one of your students. But the important thing is that I want you to be there, maybe for 1 week, as I'll be saying goodbye to my school. Thank you, guys, for being so helpful to all the school and having this great relationship with us. We really, really appreciate it. Keep up the good work, all of you. That's from Confidence Mtetwa. She's about 16 years old, and she just shoved that into my hand as we were leaving. It's just an example, I think, of the view that the students have of all this work that we're doing, trying to help them to escape the poverty and the disease of the community. So it's a massive thank you to everybody who's contributed to all of this, everybody for coming. Particularly like to thank Bob for doing all the organising. It's been a terrific effort getting everybody involved and all this tonight. So little card there for you, Bob. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And just like to hand over to Graham now, I think, for us. Thank you.
Gosh, I feel a little bit choked up after hearing that letter from Confidence, and I don't really know how to follow it, except to say one or two things. Mr. Mayor, you have some wonderful young people in this town. You have some very special young people. I've met some of them tonight, and I must say that I've got the rather easy virtue of just standing here in the spotlight, and there's been an incredible amount of work done. Young people don't always get a good press today. It seems like every small thing that one young person does wrong gets magnified in the press and in the media, and all the wonderful things that our young people do don't get a mention. Why? Because it's not as fun and it's not as interesting to read about. But let me say this, before I was published, I spent 10 years in youth work. And during that time, we had what we called the 3 R's. The 3 R's of youth work. It wasn't about arithmetic, writing and reading. It was what we called respect, recognition and responsibility. And we reckoned that if you were able to work with young people and you gave young people those 3 R's, that they could achieve anything. They could achieve absolutely anything. This project is amazing, and I feel so proud, and I feel like I haven't done very much, and the young people and Bob and everybody else that's been, and believe me, I'm not being falsely modest here. I've got friends around who've known me for a long time who know that one of my virtues is not modesty. It is that I have the easy virtue of standing here when other people have really done the work. I'm very proud to come here tonight and meet some of the young people that have been involved in it. Little story from my own background. You've seen this picture, and it's got a miner on the front of it. I come from a mining background in the Midlands, and perhaps it will illustrate it if I tell you the sort of response I got from my dad. I was lucky, I had a very loving background, but let's say that it was unpretentious in literary terms, and I don't think anybody expected me to go on to be a writer. So when I got my first book published, my dad said, "What's this book you've got published then?" I said, "Well, it's called Dreamside." He said, "What's it about?" I said, "Well, it's about your dreams and what they mean." He said, "What are you on about what they mean? They mean you're asleep." and I said, "No, it's about Jung and Freud and how you hate your father." I said, "What are you on about you hate your father? I hated my father. Didn't hurt me. He hated his father. You're supposed to hate your father. What's what fathers are for?" Well, it was a very gritty and a very practical kind of upbringing, and it was a place where, as I say, I guess somebody who was back in the days of the awful 11+, which was a kind of sheep gate that divided people from whether they were likely to have any chance of an education or not. I was expected to be one of the knots, and a teacher took an interest in me and saw something in something that I was writing and planted the idea from a very early age. And it changed my life. It changed my life. And I guess if there's one message that I want to say to the young people who've come here tonight, and it's great to see this mix of young people and older people today, is that when I was 18, I wanted to change the world, and everybody ever since that time has told me, you can't change the world, you can't change this world. Well, maybe they're right. But you know what is true is that you can change the world for one person, and you can change the world for 10 people. And sometimes projects like this are here to remind us what you can do. And that letter that you just read out there just confirms that for me every time. So I'd like to say to these very fine young people of your town that just remember that when anybody says you can't change the world, you can change the world for one person. And that's all I've got to say tonight. I'm very proud to be involved in this project. The end product is beautiful, but the process behind it and the involvement of all the young people in it is even more beautiful than the product. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Graham, for those words. I'm useless at public speaking, and I was racking my brains. What do I say to all these people? It's nearly Christmas, and one of my Christmas highlights is Great Escape on telly. I love it. And my favourite character from The Great Escape is played by James Garner. Now, who can remember the character that James Garner played in The Great Escape? No? Oh, come on. There's a hand in the back. The Scrounger. The Scrounger. That's been me, really. That's been my involvement. The Scrounger. I've been the one that's gone round and blagged things from people and asked for things. And it falls to me, really, to say the thank yous. I'd like to first of all thank 3 organisations that have provided the refreshments tonight, which is Waitrose in Salisbury, who were really generous. We just walked in there and they could have said, "Who are you? Go and buy it at the till." But, you know, they were really good to us. I'd like to thank Mr. Patel of Patel Oils on the A354, who not only supplied all the soft drinks, but has also helped me get to school on more than one occasion. You know, if you've seen my car, you'll know what I'm talking about. But also the South Africa shop from Christchurch, thank you ever so much for coming and bringing the wonderful biltong with you. That was super, really good to see you here tonight. There are so many people that I could thank. I'm not going to go through the whole list. You've got to buy the book. It's on the acknowledgements page. Just buy the book and read the people that have been involved. But I have to acknowledge certain people, the students, students from my old tutor group who were involved from day one. Everything from typing the book to, yes, John, I can see you there. Hi. Everything from typing the book to, you know, advising on designs, choosing the cover, all this sort of thing, right through to packing orders and processing the orders. So a huge thanks to them. Thanks to the staff. The staff have turned up tonight to support this, but also who, you know, put their hand in their pocket and supported the project from day one. The governors of the school, I know we've got a governors meeting happening tonight, and we were expecting governors to arrive. They'll probably arrive after I finish thanking them. They're probably blushing outside, but they've been very good. And obviously the school, you know, Mr. Eels, Brian Eels, has been really supportive over this project. I think when I first mentioned it to him, he probably thought I was going a bit mad, actually. Is Brian around? We've had a little digital print done of the front cover of the book with a little thing that Graham and Tony, who is here, the photographer, kindly signed. I'd like to just present that to Brian for the school, for Westwood. We have another one. There's only 8 of these actually. They've been produced in a limited edition of 8. I'm going to present this to Mark Potts, pass on at some point to the Mbakazulu School in South Africa.
Next time I go there.
Next time you go.
Thank you very much.
But I have to say there were 3 big turning points in this project. The first one was over half term, sitting there, and I remember it was pouring with rain, and I've been talking to my wife Julie, who's been terribly supportive and put up with an awful lot of rubbish from me over the last few months. And I said, I need a printer for this project. And I just picked up the phone book and started flicking through, and I rang a printer called Anthony Rowe in Chippenham. Little did I know that they are actually one of the finest book printers in Britain. I'm not just saying that, but they are, and Roger's nodding over there. They really are. When you go there, you find that they are producing some very high quality work. And I used one of my old sales techniques when I used to be in selling, and that was don't phone the managing director until after 5:30, because his secretary goes home at 5:30 and you'll get him between 5:30 and 6, because secretary will have gone home, but the managing director's always worked late. So I phoned him at about 5:45, and he said to me, "Wait, what's all this then?" And I explained about the project, and he said, "Oh, I know, you want me to print this for nothing, don't you?" "Oh, all right then, we will." Of course, that was a huge step forward for us on this project. We couldn't have taken a financial risk without Anthony Rowe being involved, so a huge thanks to them. I suppose second out of the third turning points was when I suddenly thought, hang on a sec, if we're going to produce a book, we need a cover. And I started searching on the internet and scanning for what can we put on the cover. Black Dust, it's about a mining disaster. I don't know any miners. And then I remembered an old friend of mine that I hadn't seen for a while, but picked up the phone, Tony Baker, who has produced the photograph for the cover, and it just fit. The moment I saw it, and from the minute I asked Tony if he could help us, he was so helpful in sending us a range of photographs which the students looked at. I think it's a fabulous cover. I know that our author loves it, and I'd like to present one of the covers. It's a bit of a funny gift, this, because of course it's Tony's photograph and he signed it as well. Here you are, Tony. Thanks ever so much. The one major turning point in all this, and I remember it vividly for the rugby fans here, was during, or very close to the Rugby World Cup final, so that shows you how long the project's been going. And I was at a writers' convention in the West Midlands. I put the word out, could Graham Joyce please come and see me? Not that I was any kind of, but I was tied to a table in a book room selling books. And Graham very kindly came over during this World Cup final, so I had one eye on the TV and one eye on Graham. And I kind of sheepishly and shyly asked him if we could possibly use one of his stories and produce it in this little stapled booklet that we could sell at $4.95 or whatever. And it through Graham's generosity, it kind of grew through there. Now I say generosity, and I don't mean that in a financial sense, but over the last few days it's occurred to me that Graham is a writer, an artist, and he has trusted us, and I use that word trust, trusted us with 3 of his stories, and I thought that is an incredible thing to do. He didn't really know me that well, and you know, he probably thought, I wonder what they're going to produce, what's going to come out of all this, but he trusted us with 3 of his best stories, and I think that says an awful lot. I mean, I can't thank Graham enough. He's given up time for us, which for working people is probably the most precious commodity. I'd like to also say thanks to your wife. I know she couldn't be here tonight, but you know, for the time that you've given up for us. And of course, I'd like to give one of these to Thanks. Graham's now going to be available in his author capacity to inscribe copies of the book. If you've already bought it, he'll happily write to so-and-so, you were the inspiration for all these stories.
All the memories.
Or if you haven't bought a copy, shame on you. Come and pick one up, take it to the till, you hand over a plastic thing, it doesn't hurt. And please, raffle tickets will be coming round, you've got a little chance, we'll be drawing the raffle in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And please go and get another drink, enjoy yourselves. Thanks for coming. Thank you.
There you go, hope they like it. Hello.
Could you put it for Freya?
You better spell this for me.
I'm being filmed as well.
Hiya.
Could you put to Steve, please?
Could be. Oh, that's amazing.
Bless him.
Cheers then, Graham. Thank you so much indeed.
Well, that's Alice, and that's Andrew.
How are you feeling?
I'm alright, thanks.
Your last chance to buy raffle tickets.
It's 303. A bottle of Cabernet, yes, you lucky devil. And 273.
Doctor Who DVD.
Yes, Doctor Who. Nothing wrong with that for a grown man. 100.
Charlotte, cuddly toy. Zebra.
And the very last one of the evening. Let's hope that Charlotte doesn't win us again. 60. Coburn again.
Could I just say thank you, Gary? Can I also say a huge thanks to Councillor Paisley for supporting our venture this evening. Thank you ever so much for coming. Really appreciate that. And a huge round of applause for our hosts, Ottikas, Jackie Vines and her staff. Thank you. Brilliant. If you are hungry or thirsty, I don't know why you'd be thirsty, but we're going to I've got to get this right, the Chuff, where we have some places booked. Please come along. Love to see as many of you as can make it for a bite to eat. Thank you very much.